This is After Effects Apprentice Lesson 11, Comp 1A. We're going to start playing with shapes in this tutorial. So when you open up Comp 1, it'll be empty, and we are going to put a rounded rectangle in it. If we don't select a layer, it will automatically come out as a shape layer. You can also select a new shape layer by going Layer, New, Shape Layer. But we'll just create one automatically when we drag. When you open up the shape layer box, we've got the fill option. It can be empty, it can be solid, it can have a linear gradient or a radial gradient. And we will select a solid gradient of 50% opacity. We will then select its color, and they want us to pick red. We will then take a look at our stroke. Once again, we can have no stroke, a solid stroke, a gradient stroke, or a radial gradient stroke. And we will pick a solid stroke. We want it to be white. And we want it to be 6 pixels wide. So now, when we drag it in here, this is what we have. So now let's go ahead and twirl down the options, and we will reset the size and the shape. All of this is changeable. Let's first center it. When you twirl down the transform rectangle, we'll hit 0 and 0 to center it. We want to set the length, we'll break the chain, and the width to be 200, and we can adjust the roundness of the shape by using this function. Okay. Now let's add another shape inside this layer. So we've got this selected. So what we will now do is we will go down and we'll add a polystar, and we will drag the polystar in. And as I'm holding it, I haven't released the mouse yet. If I move the up and down arrow, it's a quick way to kind of pick the number of star points you want. But we'll twirl it down. We can center this. Here. And if we take a look at the polystar path, we still have control over the number of points that we want, so it can be a triangle. Now we want to mess with the inner radius and the outer radius and the inner roundness until we get an interesting little overlap going. Okay, I'm going to jack up the inner roundness. All right. And then we're going to want to go into fill, and we want to set our fill rule to even odd so that it'll start punching holes into itself as we play with it. So I'm going to keyframe the outer roundness, and then I'm going to go back to the original by copying and pasting it there. And So render something that has some interesting overlaps.